I want to talk about Michigan State. Obviously, Michigan State Spartan. I've been a Michigan State fan for a long time. Went to Michigan State. Anyway, that's why we're talking about Michigan State. But not just because, I like them as a team. I think there actually is a world in which Michigan State is kind of an interesting team this year. So, just from a schedule perspective, this is what it's looking like. So, tomorrow night, Florida Atlantic, Maryland on the road next week on September 7th. This is in week to week. Then you got Prairie View, A&M at home, on the road against Boston College, at home against Ohio State, on the road against Oregon, at home against Iowa, on the road against Michigan, at home against Indiana, on the road against Illinois, at home against Purdue, and then at home against Rutgers. So I want to say the over-under for Michigan State is 4.5. And this is as of a few days ago on FanDuel, was 4.5. Aiden Childs, the new quarterback, transfer from Morgan State, came along with Jonathan Smith. He told fans to bet the over. And my question then is, do you believe? And I'll say this. I believe in the over. I don't believe in anything really meaningful past that. So, best case scenario for Michigan State looking at this schedule is 8-4. I really don't know how you could squeeze in 9 wins. You'd basically have to upset one or both of Michigan or Ohio State or Oregon. There'd have to be some upset in there. So, I mean, if I'm being optimistic, Mike, going down their schedule, Florida Atlantic, that's a win. At Maryland, that's a win. Prairie View A&M, that's a win. Boston College, that's a win. Ohio State loss. Oregon loss. Iowa win. Michigan loss. Indiana win. Illinois win. Actually, wait, hold on. This is like, I think that actually puts you at 9-3 because that's 1, 2, 3. Probably, maybe you lose to Rutgers or you lose to Boston College on the road or something. My point is, or you lose or Iowa. I don't know. Point is, like the most optimistic world that I can even put myself in is maybe 9-3. But realistically, I really can't see anything more than 8-4 at the most. At the most. To be perfectly honest, I think they're probably going to end up 6-6. And I think anything short of 6-6, even up to and including a 5-7 year where you would hit the over on your win totals, to me, it's like you got to just make a bowl game. I get it. You have it. This 4-game stretch of Ohio State to U of M, that's brutal. And the other problem is like you really don't ever have much of a home stand either. I mean, you're home, then you're on the road, then you're home again, then you're on the road, then you're home again, then you're on the road, then you're home, then you're on the road, home, on the road, and then you get 2 home at the end. Like, I don't know if that's typical. I haven't looked at every other team's schedule, but man, it's like the back and forth of constant traveling for Michigan State. It's got to be tough. Not only on the players, it's got to be tough on the schedule maker. I don't know how they came up with this. It's not an easy situation, but obviously this is a new Michigan State team. We have a new coach who has success in Oregon State. His last 3 seasons at Oregon State were all over that 4.5 win total, right? So if you're just taking the most recent versions of Jonathan Smith's teams, they've all been at least 5-win teams. However, his first few were under that. And the question then becomes, how long does it take for Jonathan Smith to really, figure himself out here in Michigan State? How long does it take for him to actually establish, his culture, whatever that looks like at Michigan State? And it's an open-ended question because college football roster construction has just changed completely with the transfer portal and new recruiting. I mean, it's just way different now. I mean, I'm looking at the box score. I'm looking at their depth chart, at least, according to ourlads.com, which is a great website for just putting in the I keep saying the depth charts in a really easy to understand way. I mean, On the offensive side, we have 4 new starters that are either transfers or freshmen. Actually, in this case, they're all transfers. We have 4 new starters that are transfers. And on the offensive side, we have, let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 total guys that are transfers or freshmen. So that's, I mean, granted, some of those are freshmen, obviously, but a lot of those are transfers. Like on the wide receiver front, we are bringing back the same wide receiver starters. So you got Montori Foster, you got Jaron Glover, you got Alante Brown, and Antonio Gates Jr. as well in the back there. And Jaron Glover, I thought last year was fine. Antonio Gates, I thought he was okay too. Montori Foster, like these guys might be fine. It's pretty hard to determine for some of them. Like a Jaron Glover, he's a redshirt sophomore. I mean, Montori Foster Jr., redshirt senior, so he's been here for a while here, but he really hasn't had that great of quarterback play while he's been here. And the question is whether or not Aiden Childs is that guy. And I don't know. I really don't know. He is such an unknown, but the fact that he came along with this coach and the coach wanted him, right? Like the coach had recruited him at Oregon State and wanted him enough that when he went to Michigan State, he said, I want that guy. I'm taking him away from Oregon. Whether or not it works out, we'll see. The other player I'm interested in seeing is this Jack Velling kid, the new transfer out of, I want to say he was also out of Oregon State. I don't exactly remember, but he's another transfer. I mean, look, the last good tight end I can really remember Michigan State having was Connor Hayward. So that's basically where Michigan State tight ends have been. Is that Connor Hayward was, but it just seemed like every time they threw the ball to him, he caught it. I know that's like the most bare bones and like minimal, expectation, but it's just true. So I do hope for good things in this offense, and it's a new quarterback, new offensive coach in Smith who can maybe make games fun to watch. And again, that confidence that Aiden Childs was delivering when he told people to take the over, I'm not going to say it's like some sign of things to come, like Aiden Childs is a prophet, but I don't think it's insignificant. I do think that it means something, that there's a level of like Michigan State has not really caught the attention of a lot of the media, not just around here, obviously, given the Michigan scandal and Michigan winning the national championship and everything. It makes sense why Michigan State has not really been talked about, especially in the Big Ten, because they're not going to win the Big Ten. They're not better than Oregon. They're not better than Ohio State. They're probably not better than they're not better than Michigan. They're not better than a lot of teams in the Big Ten. But I don't think this is like last year's team, where it was painful to watch, where you had awful coordinators, and I guess we'll find out what these coordinators are like that Smith has brought in. It just feels like to me, I mean, you really can't go any further down, right? I mean, what you would think, you can't go any further down than where you're already at. So for me, if I'm being totally honest, ideally, I would like to win at least 6 games. If you can win 6 games, you can get us to a bowl game, have, the winter, like late December / January period of time where Michigan State can actually have, something, where it's like, all right, great. It's Christmas vacation. I can go and watch Michigan State play in the Red Box Bowl or something. I don't know. But I guess I do hope that Jonathan Smith can bring the winning ways back to Michigan State. It's hard to imagine, given the stage of the Big Ten as it is now, now you bring in all these new teams, it's hard to imagine you're going to have another era like the D'Antonio era of the 2010s. It really is. And it's hard, it's sad for me to say that, but I'm not totally like a doomer in this. Okay. I'm not totally like Michigan State is never going to be good. It's done. It's over. We're just going to hope we can get to 6 wins every year and maybe we beat Michigan sometime. No, I do believe there is a world where Michigan State can be a good team, but it is much harder than it ever was. So Jonathan Smith, show me something. Tomorrow night, Jonathan Smith, Aiden Childs, show me something. I know it's Florida Atlantic, but last year's opening game against Central Michigan, it took a little bit for Noah Kim to show me something. First drive, I want to see something exciting. First defensive stop, I want to see something cool, right? I want to see something good. So, and we got a lot of new players on the defensive side, both mostly transfers. To be perfectly honest, we really did overhaul a lot of this roster this offseason with the transfer portal and then with some incoming freshmen as well. I really hope that we see that growth. I guess I just want some good football on Saturdays. Darn it! Can a Michigan State fan get that? Probably not. But there is reason for hope. But I'll wait until the actual game happens because I don't want to get people excited because Aiden Childs, he's legit. He's gonna bring fun back to. It's like I don't know Aiden Childs from a hole in the wall, guys. I can't sit here and lie to you and tell you that Aiden Childs is gonna be Cam Newton, right? I'd love for him to be Cam Newton, but I don't believe it'll happen. There really isn't a world where Michigan State makes the playoff either. Again, short of them going 9-3 and 2 or 3 of those wins being, against like Iowa, Michigan, or one of Oregon and Ohio State. I really don't see that world, unfortunately. So could be an interesting year for Michigan State. I think they are a team to be watched, not as like a national championship contender or Big Ten championship contender or anything like that. I do think they're an interesting team, though. So if you're not a Michigan State fan and you happen to have them on the multi-view on YouTube TV, I think they're a team to watch out for. I don't think it's going to be, every week it's like, all right, are we going to get, mollywopped? Maybe some weeks, but I don't think it's going to be the way it was during Mel Tucker and especially at that last season that we just had. So should be an interesting game this week. Florida Atlantic. Get to see Aiden Childs live in action in Spartan Stadium. Should be fun. So go green this year. I'm looking forward to anything better than last year. Hi, it's me again. If you enjoyed what you just saw, hit the like and subscribe button. We do live shows every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hope to see you there.